All right, guys, now we're going to look at loops. So a for loop is used for iterating over a sequence. That is either a list, a tuple, a dictionary, a set, or string. So what I'm going to do here is create a list of people. So let's say John, Will, Janet, and Karen. All right, so we have a list of people, and I want to loop through them. So I'm going to say for person. The first one here is going to be whatever you want to use within the loop to identify each value in the iteration. Okay, then we want to do an in, and then the name of the list. So for person in people, and then we can access each person. So let's do a print. So we'll say print, and let's just say current person, and put another parameter of person. All right, so let's run this by saying python 3 loops.py, and there we go. Current person, John, Will, Janet, and Karen. All right, so if we wanted to, let's say, break out of a loop at a certain point, I'm going to copy this and comment it out. I also want to, I'll just say simple for loop. All right, so let's say break out. Okay, so this is the same loop, but I want to break out of the loop if the person, when the person is Janet. Okay, so what I'll do here is go under the print and say if person, so we're just doing an if statement, comparison operator is going to be equals, and then Janet. Okay, so if that's true, then I want to break. So let's see what happens if we run this. So right after Janet, it breaks. It prints Janet because this runs before the if. But if I were to move this down here and then run it again, it stops at Will. Okay, so the positioning of the break really matters. All right, so let's say we want to just kind of skip Janet. So in that case, we could use a continue. Okay, so I'm going to say continue, and I'm going to copy this first loop, comment this one out, and let's go ahead and paste that in and uncomment. And in here, I'm going to say if, let's do if person is equal to Janet, then I want to continue. Okay, I'm going to clear this terminal up and run it, and now we just get John, Will, and Karen. So we skipped Janet basically. All right, now we're going to move on to range. Okay, so range is used to loop through something a specific number of times. Okay, so let's say range. So I'm going to do for I in range. And then in here, we could, for instance, take the number of values in this people list. Let's do that. Remember, we can get the number of values with the len function. So we can say len, and let's say people. Okay. So for as many people that are in there, let's go ahead and print, and we'll just say current person, and here we want to say people, and then we use the current index. So we do it like that, more like a traditional type of for loop, and we get current person, and we get all their names. Okay, and we can specify the range like manually. It doesn't have to be the length of a certain list or anything like that. For instance, if I want to do for I in range, and I could say let's start at 0 and go to 10, and then let's just print, I'll say number, and let's put I here. All right, let's see what that gives us. Let's actually comment this one out. So we'll run that. We actually get 1 through 9 because it's going to be up to this number. So if I actually wanted 10, I could go like that, and that would give us 10. All right, so it's more like a traditional for loop. So we also have while loops, just like we do in many languages. And while loops execute a set of statements as long as a condition is true. Let me just clear this up down here real quick. And then let's create a simple while loop. So I'm actually going to create a variable outside of the loop called count. I'm going to set it to 0, and I'm going to say while count is less than or equal to 10, then I want to print, and I'm going to say count, and put a space here, and then let's do count. Okay, and then we need to increment it. So to increment it, we're going to say count plus equals 1, which is the same as saying count equals count plus 1. It's just a shorter way of incrementing by 1. So let's save that. Actually, let's comment this part out and save this. And we'll run it, and we get count, and we get up to 10. All right. So I think that's it for loops, guys, and we'll be using these throughout the course in Django. In the next video, I want to take a look at modules. Modules are a huge part of Python, especially with web development. You're always using different packages, including different files. So that's something that's really important to understand. So that's what we're going to look at next.